Hello, it's Kylie, Bertucci, Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia here with you. And I am here with you today to do a very quick and easy card, a very simple card, using a beautiful new stamp set called Hand Drawn Blooms. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Now it comes as part of a suite and there's some absolutely gorgeous paper and all sorts of amazing things. But I just really wanted to keep my card very simple today. This is for all my brand new people that might be watching that have never stamped before, never done card making before, and you're not sure where to start. And this is a really easy, simple card to make, and I've got a stepped up version to show you. So today what I'm going to do is explain a little bit more about the Stampin' Up colouring options. Because that can get a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot of different options and different ways that you can colour, and sometimes we may not understand the difference between each type of colouring too. Now you're probably noticing there's some empty spaces over here. That's because I've brought all my colouring tools over here with me. So normally these are sitting in, and my beautiful blends. So I'm going to be talking about, I'll have to pick this up. I'm going to end up dropping it, knowing me. We all know what Kylie's like. So these are the blends, and there's another set over there. So there's different types of colouring tools. These ones here are called Stampin' Blends, and they are alcohol based, and I'll explain the difference between the alcohol based markers, and then we also have these ones here which are the Stampin' Write markers, and they're water based markers. We also have some brand new water painters, which is really exciting. We've had we called them aqua painters before, but I'm really excited to show you the difference with using aqua painters. But we also have, just to make things very confusing, and that's why I wanted to do this video today, we also have blends. Not like these are blender pens, not blends like alcohol blends, blender pens. So these help you, just as the word is blender, it helps you blend in. So there's a few different options, and that makes it quite confusing, because really that's like and I'll tell you, with the blender pens, the best thing is the watercolor pencils, which I'm just going to pick up. So we've got all the pencils here as well. I need to find a good storage container for my pencils, actually. I think I need something better than what I have. So you can see how we can get very overwhelmed, and we could get very confused, especially when it comes to the water-based and the alcohol-based. Well, what's the difference? Which one do I choose? So let's jump on in, and I will show you the card that I have made today. I'll just move these blends over the side here so that we can make some room. And if you live in Australia, you can purchase any of these products from us. Here they are here. So really simple. This is the stepped up one because I've done some embossing, but today I'm just going to show this one here. So for the advanced stampers out there, you would all know how to do this, and it's still a very simple card. Once you learn how to do embossing, it's quite simple. But I thought this one was perfect because even as it is, I love it black and white. But I thought it would be interesting to see what it looked like trying different colouring techniques on the card, and you could decide which one you prefer. So let's jump in, and I'll do some stamping, and then I'll show you the different types of colouring and your options that you have. So firstly, what is really interesting with this beautiful bloom is it actually is more of a, like, it's got the stem of flowers there, but I thought it would be interesting to use these blooms just as a separate stamp, because they are two different stamps, and to use it at multiple times on the one card. So you could just literally just have this in the middle with the beautiful stems and the bow, and it would look amazing. But I thought it would be great just to try something out. Now with this stamp, because it's a little bit bigger, you can get these clear blocks from us through Stampin' Up, and these are called cling stamps. So they've got the rubber stamp. We also have another type called clear or photopolymer stamps. They're great for sentiments because you can see through them because they're easy to see. Now, what I'm going to do is just going to have one bigger one here on this side. And then you can see it's very fine. It's very, thin lines, this stamp. It's a very beautiful stamp. So then we have a little lighter side on this side. Now I'm going to come in with the sentiment because I want to line it up before I stamp the next bit. So I've just used the sentiment. First of all, I used this congratulations here, which is actually part of another set. Those two come together because the die cut that you use cuts out both of them. But I just stamped the top section and just used that bit. But on this one today, I thought I'll use the thank you friend. I thought I'll put those together, and I've just put friend underneath, which I thought was just something fun to do. And you could totally come in, like cut those out. I'm going to put them in here. That looks perfect. You could totally cut them out and put them in later. Like emboss it for those that want to do a stepped up version. But I really like that sentiment. And I love how it's just, looks like it's just part of the scenery. So this is a one dimension card, which is very unusual for me. But I think it's a great way to show those that maybe haven't stamped before how you can make a quick and easy card just using stamps, ink and paper. And simple stamping is not easy. Like a lot of us have tried doing it, those that have been demonstrators for a while, and we're like, I didn't realize how complicated I'd made this card making business. It's like, have I overcomplicated this? No, we just like to challenge ourselves. And it's fun because you keep learning as you do this more. You'll keep trying new techniques and new styles. So look how beautiful that is. Now that literally, we could just glue that down, bang, 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 and that is a beautiful card that I would be more than happy to receive. I've got some epoxy droplets here. There's frosted or clear epoxy droplets that I could add on, and you've got yourself a very, very nice card. But let's just have a little play with this and see the different techniques that we can use on this card with colouring. So first of all, you've got this one here, which is the watercolor pens. Now with the watercolor pens, it's perfect on something like this because they're very small amounts that you need to colour. So the markers would work quite well, but on a bigger, larger piece, the water-based pens would tend to clog the cardstock and then create holes in the cardstock, which is not really a good thing when we're card making. So the other use that's really cool with, and I'll get another piece of paper here just to show you, but another cool thing that the water-based pens do is, say for instance, and I've got my Simply Chamois cleaner here that cleans everything off. Even though it looks really dirty, it does clean really well. It makes life a lot easier. So I'll just clean all that off, and then what you can do is actually come in with your markers. Good. Sometimes if it's a one of these ones, I actually pick up my chamois and come in and give it a good scrub with the background stamps as well, the bigger ones. So say for instance we want to have like a little bit of an ombre effect or something, so we might go for some different pinks here, and I think we'll go for a lighter one. Yeah, that looks good. So you would always start with the lighter first. So your Stamp and Write water-based pens come in two ends. One is great for writing, or even like something tiny like this. You could use it to colour because it's got a very thin tip. And then it's got the thicker brush. So when you're going direct to the stamp, then it's really good to use the thicker brush. So This is not something that you can actually do with the Stamper Blends, the alcohol-based pens. This is only something that you can do with the water-based ink because it's the same as the ink in the stamp pads. So that's where this is very unique, and it creates some awesome ideas. But of course you could use it just for colouring, but this is sort of another stepped up way that you can use these beautiful watercolour pens, or water-based pens, I should say. So you can see I'm just really being quite rough here. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. This was not practiced earlier. If you know me well, you know Kylie's just winging it. Just making it up as I go. So we'll do that, and then you can just sort of come in a little bit with a bit of extra colour, and just have a bit of play so that it sort of blends it in a bit. And then you'll see, where did I put my, there, is that the piece? Anyway, I'll use that piece because I've got another one here. Oh yeah, there it is. So then what you can do is just go stamp, and we've just coloured it in. Oh yeah, so I missed a tiny little bit here, but it's got a little bit of the, it actually looks really nice. I'll have to hold it up. So that little bit there, I just missed a little bit, but you can see here this gorgeous like ombre effect there from being able to colour directly onto the stamp. And you just couldn't do that with pads, stamp pads. There's no way that you could grab all these different shades of colour and have that effect through it. And even if you wanted to, you could sort of start with your lighter colour, hit different spots in the colouring, and then do it that way. So that's a really cool effect, that one, being able to go straight on. And it's great if you've got something that sort of needs two tones. So say you've got a flower and it has leaves. Well, you don't want it to all be one colour, and that's where these come in really handy, and they enable you to colour your one stamp into two colours, or not having to stamp it twice and then cut out and all that sort of thing. So that is where these come in great. And we'll also see, as I mentioned, with the lighter colours, that the smaller fine pen, it's perfect for coming in and colouring in these areas here. Now the only thing is with these is that you're going to get like a lot of colour. You're not going to sort of get the gradation or blending like you do with the alcohol pens, but you're not really going to notice it on something this small. So this is perfect. The Stamp and Write markers are perfect for something like this, colouring something like this. So that is that. We do have a marker club that you can join up to, because we may not have, you know, a couple of $100 ready there to spend on this whole case of markers. So we cut them up into 4 different payment plans, and then you can collect each set over 4 months. So if you have any questions about that, you can ask me, but they're really great. Now, the next thing that we could use to colour is our wonderful watercolour pencils. These get missed a lot, which is really sad. But for instance here, if I colour in this and we colour it in, we go, oh my goodness, that looks like a child has coloured that in. And it's true. It really does. It looks like a 2-year-old just coloured this flower in. And you probably look at it and go, I don't understand why someone would want these pencils. However, there's some cool things that happen when you mix it with either the blender pens or your aqua painters, or even more cool is the Wink of Stella. You can even use this as well. I don't know if all of you knew that, but let's go for the Wink of Stella, because this has got a little bit of glitter in it. So what you're going to do is just come in, and then as you're colouring, it's adding that beautiful glitter on there, and then it's blending all of that colouring. And I'll lift that up so you can see the difference between the two. So you can see here that the one that's blended, you probably can't see the, oh yeah, there we go, a little bit of glitter there. So this looks like, yeah, a little kid's drawn on it, but as soon as you add this sort of little bit of moisture to it, bit of either the aqua painter or the blender pen. It just picks up that amazing, and I'll use it here with this, so you can see here, this looks very scrapey and yucky. Actually, I should have just checked that there was no ink on that. There's a little bit of ink still on it. So all you do with your blender pens, when you're finished with it, you just keep going until there's no more ink, and you can keep using it, and you can use it on lots of different colours, and I think I've had these for 11 years since I've been a demonstrator. They last forever, which is really cool. Very, very affordable colouring tool. So then you're just going to blend that in really lightly. It's not going to have the glitter like the other one does, but this blender pen is a great tool to go along with your watercolouring pencils. However, your blender pens are also really handy if you wanted to pick up some colour from your inks. So you can squeeze it. I don't know if it actually still, oh yeah, there it goes. You can squeeze it. And I think it should, yeah, pull it in the top there of the lid. Or you can just grab your refills and put a little bit of the refill in there. And then you just come in with your blender pen again, take off any colour that might be on there. And you can actually pick up colour, which is really cool. So that's another technique that's really fun. And you can see we've got this beautiful sort of daisy here that you can come in and I try and leave a little bit of white space, make it still feel like it's got that artistic sort of look to it with a little bit of white space. You don't want to colour it in perfectly, but that's another really great way to pick up colour and colour as well. Bing! Blender pen. Then the last option that we have, so we've gone through the Stampin' Write markers, which are water-based markers. We've gone through the watercolour pencils, which are really great with aqua painters, blender pens, or even the Wink of Stella to bring out its full potential with the watercolour pencils. And the last one are our amazing alcohol-based pens. Now, these are absolutely beautiful. They come in a set of 2 for each colour. There's a light and a dark. Now, this enables you to layer your colour. On this type of project, it's probably not going to be revealed as much as it would on a larger image, but we'll try over here on this flower so that you can see. So this is the lighter colour. I always go in light first, and you don't have to do, again, the whole full image. You can just do sort of bits of it, and then you come in here with your darker image, and of course you want to be a lot more light-handed with that. Sort of come in with little bits here. Now, then you come back with your light again, and what you can do is actually blend that so that it appears as though they have all become one colour. And then, just for a bit of, you got your big brush and your small brush. So just to really give it some more definition, you can come in behind here, and then that's going to create like this shading effect that you can have. So and I'm not a colorist at all. I'm not professional in coloring, but you can see there that flower, it just looks like it's popping off the page because you've been able to use that dark and light to create this image of though it's got dimension when it actually doesn't. So you can see the difference here. This is, and you know, still beautiful ways of colouring, but just a different technique and a different style. And these do take a little while to get used to, but it didn't take me long at all to just play around. Didn't take me long at all to just play around with it and yeah, then add that colour. So that is the blends, and you know, I can't pick which one is my favourite way to colour. It really just depends on what you're using as to what would be the best. Like this stamp set here, I think for me, but look, even the blends look amazing with it. So it just depends what you feel like doing, whether you feel like colouring with pencils, whether you feel like colouring with the markers, or whether you feel like colouring with the blends. And the other cool thing to remember is that just the way that we picked up, another technique that you could do for colouring is the same way that we picked up the colour with the blender pen. We can actually do the same thing with our water painters. And now Stampin' Up! This is new water painters that we've just received. And they've got this beautiful fine tip one here. There's a painting one and then a medium-sized one. So for something like this, it's so good having this fine tip one. We've never had that before. And so to squeeze, you just squeeze it so that the water goes to the top. And it literally is water that's being pumped into there. You just screw off the top. And then you come in and get your water. Now, you can sort of mix it. You can drop water in there and really, you know, move that around to get that watercolor effect. And as I said to you, I am no professional when it comes to watercoloring or any coloring really, but I really enjoy testing these out. And the best thing you can do is just play, like just have a try. And then as you're trying these new different techniques, you're going to learn new ways of coloring. And there might be one that you really connect with, you really enjoy doing. And then you'll know, okay, that's the colouring that I really enjoy. But, you know, push yourself and try a different way to colour. So you can see it's just added such a gorgeous look to this card already. We can add a little bit more here. And the best thing is with the aqua painters, you can go lighter and darker. Or with the water painters, I've got to get that in my head, it's a new word for this one. So you can sort of lighten it by adding more water, and you can start with the light one first, and then if you want to, you can pick up the darker section, and then that could be even this section here where you're layering the color on top and making that darker. So there's flexibility even with the water painters as well. So there's some ideas for you, and they're our main colouring tools that we have with Stampin' Up. So if you haven't used any of these colouring tools, if you live in Australia and you would like to learn more about how to use these tools, we would be happy to help you. We have a lot of creative support through our team and for our customers as well, so that you can get the most out of these beautiful products and just learn new ways to be creative. You know, there's so much research that's gone into colouring and how it's good for you. It helps you zone out, and we're living in a pretty stressful time right now, so maybe we all need to do a little bit of colouring. help reduce our blood pressure a little bit. So I think it's come up so pretty. I'm just going to do one more little flower over here. I think that would be really nice, and we'll stick that together so that you can see the finished product there. So I've got a couple flowers here, and I'll use my Wink of Stella to bring out the so with the pencils you can actually really, if you want a lot of color to come on, you can really push it in to get it, you know, to layer that color. So I don't want to do it all, but I just want to have these pops of colour. But of course, if you wanted to colour the whole thing, you could totally come in with some greens, and so I'll just stick with the pink and the bumblebee. Oh, it's so pretty. And these ones here. Look, it really doesn't need to be over the top, the amount of colouring you do to really make a beautiful impact. Excellent. And then I'll come in with the Wink of Stella, because I really liked having a little bit of shimmer. Beautiful. And then these little ones here. So I really hope that this helps some of you that maybe haven't seen all of the different options with colouring, with Stampin' Up. And if you have any questions at all, please pop them in the comments below. Any comments that you have for me, pop that below as well, because we're here to help you discover some new creativity, to have a really healthy, fun hobby. And you can see this is what the blends do. That's fine. That's what the alcohol does. It goes through the paper, as opposed to the watercolor pencils or the water based pens. They'll actually create a hole. So that's the difference between the two. Just be careful with the Wink of Stella because it still might be a little bit wet. And then I'm just going to layer that on a piece of Whisper White. I like to use my thick Whisper White if I'm doing a card base, because it's just a little bit more sturdy. And I use my bone folder to crease that. And then we can glue this down and stick on some of the gems. There we go. I feel like this cardstock is a little bit skew-iff, so I'll just leave a little bit on that side. I don't know who cut those cards today, but it wasn't me. Totally was me. So there we have it. Look at this beautiful, simple, really simple card, but it will just help you to see that card making does not have to be complicated. It can be fun, easy, quick, and you can discover some really cool, fun little ideas. I'm going to add one more in there. I like to have odd numbers for my embellishments. So there you go. What do you think? It's great, isn't it? Nice and simple. And I hope you really enjoyed learning some new colour ideas. As you can see, you don't have to do the whole thing, but it's just a great way to learn some new ideas. So all the best. If you have any questions, if you live in Australia, we're happy to help you. And you can have a look at the links below for more information. And we shall see you next week. Make sure you subscribe, because next week I'll be showing how I made these amazing cards with our amazing rainbow glimmer paper. So come and check that out next week. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss it. Get the bell too, because otherwise you'll miss it. See you soon, everyone. Have a great week. Bye.